Here.
Ms. Driver?
Here.
Mr. Munger?
Here.
Mr. Patel?
Here.
Mr. Reed?
Here.
Mr. Underwood?
Here.
Mr. Weisman?
Here.
Ms. White?
Here.
Mr. Wood?
Here. I'd like Ms. White, if she would, lead us in invocation.
Join me in prayer, please. Eternal and loving God, on this Easter Monday, we give you thanks for the gift of life and the hope we have in you. We thank you for the opportunity to serve the people of Hoover. Help us to act with character and conviction, to listen with understanding and goodwill, and to speak with charity and restraint. Father, renew us with the strength of your presence and the joy of helping to build a community worthy of your favor. We ask this as your children, confident in your goodness and love. Amen.
Amen. Ms. Peace, will you lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance, please?
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
We have two cases tonight that's been continued to the May 4th meeting. The first case is the Birch Tree Swim and Racket Club, and the second one is the Alabama Merchant Association 900 Concourse Parkway. Both of these will be heard on May the 4th. If you have an interest in this case, you need to be here at 6 o'clock on May the 4th. These will be heard at that time. No new notices will be sent out. Is there any questions to what I've just said? Okay, we have, yeah. Before I get started, I need to make a motion to approve the minutes for the March meeting.
So moved.
Second.
Motion second. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, nay. Motion carries. Okay, we have several subdivision cases tonight. Typically, we'll take them vote on them in a block, but since we have so many comments from staff, I think we're going to take them one at a time tonight. The first case is S092536. It's the Yates addition to Hoover. That's the final map approval of the Yates addition to Hoover located at 232 Caliente Drive, Martinwood Estates. Staff has some comments on this.
Staff recommends denial of this case. The staff comments were not addressed by the applicant.
Okay. Is there an applicant in the audience that wants to address this case? Any comments from any on the Planning Commission? I'll entertain a motion.
I'll make a motion to deny based on staff comments. Second.
Have a motion and a second. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, nay. The motion is denied. The case is denied. The next case is S102545 Black Ridge Commercial Lots. Preliminary map approval for the Black Ridge Commercial Lots located at the south end of the Black Ridge Parkway. The purpose of this plat is to create two commercial lots and one common area from 13.7 acres. Staff has comments on this case.
The staff recommends approval with the following conditions. Establish front setbacks for the commercial lots. Staff recommends a 25-foot front setback with a 15-foot wide tree planting strip on both County Road 52 and Black Ridge Parkway frontages. At the time of permitting, the applicant agrees to submit an updated MS4 form and calculations if there have been any changes to the existing drainage basins ponds which tie to this project. The applicant will address the comments from Shelby County for the project and obtain Shelby County's final approval for the project. If any conditions on the Hoover project change due to addressing the Shelby County comments, the applicant will resubmit the needed edits to the City of Hoover.
You got anything you want to add to that as a developer?
No.
You understand what was read to you by staff?
I do.
You have no problems with that?
Not.
Would you state your name and address for the record, please? Just so we don't have any video, we got audio.
My name is Bob Easley with Alabama Engineering. 1214 Alford Avenue. I'm fine with the staff comments.
Thank you. Any comments from anybody on?
I meant to bring this, sorry. Ingress egress to those C1 and C2 will be as shown on the current driveway cuts, or the proposed driveway cuts?
That's correct. On the north end of the lots, we've got turn lanes into the commercial lots and drives on the north end of the lots.
Okay.
So just to be really clear, no access from County Road 52?
I wouldn't say forever, so a very brief summary. We need to build that 1,000 feet of road, and if you look at that plan, on the west side of the road, there's 23,000 yards of dirt, and on the right side of the road, there's a big hole. And so we're going to site prep by moving the 23,000 yards of dirt from one side of the road to the other, and site prep 2 flat lots. I don't know what those are going to be. They may be further developed. They may end up being one user on either side. We don't have a plan for them. And at some point in the future, we might go back to Shelby County and ask for a right-in, right-out, or something else on the 52. At this time, we don't have any plans to do that, and the grades don't work great for that. But we don't have a user yet.
And there's nothing on record from Shelby County as to whether they would outright deny access?
We haven't asked for it.
Okay.
I told David Willingham the same thing I just told you, which is we don't know what's going there. But the main driver of this is that we need to be able to connect from where Black Ridge Parkway ends now to 52 and build those turn lanes. Okay. And we just don't want to have to haul 23,000 yards of dirt across a road that's open to the public later.
Understood, thank you.
Any other comments? I'll entertain a motion.
I'll make a motion to approve with staff comments.
A motion, do I have a second?
Second.
Motion second. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, nay. Motion carries. Good luck to you. All right, next case is subdivision case S 042610. The Plaza at River Chase resurvey. The Plaza at River Chase resurvey is, the purpose of this request is to create two commercial lots. And staff's got some comments on this case.
Staff recommends approval with the following conditions. Proposed trees will be installed in accordance with the landscape architectural drawings dated March 13, 2026, taking into account the removal of existing vegetation and associated soil preparation. All new trees shall require a 1-year warranty. A landscape bond in the amount of $60,000 must be posted with the City of Hoover prior to the plat being recorded.
Who's here representing this case? Give us your name and address, please, sir.
Bob Easley, 1214 Alford Avenue.
Okay.
You've seen this one before. We were here for conditional use. The Plaza at River Chase is a close to 40-year-old development. It used to be a Walmart, now it's where the Hobby Lobby is. There's been some deferred maintenance on landscaping over the last 40 years, and so there's several islands in the middle of the parking lot that either don't have trees in them that should have trees, or that have the wrong kind of trees or have dead trees in them. And so the landscape plan that we've prepared is basically to bring it back up to what it's supposed to be per the River Chase PUD. And that's going to require some improvements, which are digging out the old dead or not doing well plants, and replacing the soil in the planting islands, and then planting trees. This development was built without irrigation, so there's no landscape irrigation in there. All of the islands out there are spread out all over the parking lot. It would be quite an ordeal to put irrigation in, because there's 50 little islands all over the parking lot. The plan is to provide hand watering and gator bags for these. The other part of the plan is that we're going to wait until October or November to replant, so that we don't want to plant them in June and have them all die over the summer. So the plan is to wait till the weather is better and for replanting, and then give them the winter to acclimate, and then we'll keep them alive through the summer with gator bags and hand watering until they're established.
That sounds reasonable to me, but did you get that okayed through these guys? That you wait to plant?
Yes, we did. At City Council, brings the reason for the bond. We had and Mac's shaking his head. But we had, city council approved us waiting until the fall to plant the trees and bonding for the improvements.
Okay. Any questions? I'll entertain a motion.
Mr. Chair, I move we approve subdivision case S0426-10 with staff comments.
I have a motion and a second. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, nay. Motion carries. Good
Thank
luck
you.
to you. The next case tonight is a conditional use case. It's C 042607, 140 Inverness Corners. It's Enterprise Car Rentals. Conditional use approval to install and operate a two-car metal canopy with trench drain and sand and oil interceptor to hand wash cars on property located in Inverness Corners Shopping Center. Staff's got comments on this one.
Yes, sir. We have reviewed the packet that came in for this particular conditional use case. Again, as stated in work session, Enterprise Rent-A-Car is looking to relocate their office from one end of Inverness Corners Shopping Center to the other, to the 280 side. That in and of itself would not have prompted the conditional use. However, they are looking to relocate the car wash associated with the Enterprise rental car, and that and the potential intensity and impacts that came with that is what's prompted the conditional use consideration. Staff recommend approval of this conditional use contingent on the following: that any and all remaining technical comments on the plan set are addressed at time of permitting. 2, that the car wash does not operate outside of the business hours for Enterprise rental car. And 3, that the certificate of occupancy and business license are obtained for the new location. The hours of operation shared with us from Enterprise are Monday through Friday, 8 a.m. to 6 p.m., Saturday, 9 a.m. to 12 p.m., and closed on Sunday. The comprehensive plan supports commercial development in this vicinity.
Okay. Who's here representing this case? You would come down and give us your name and address and tell us any other information that you want to tell us.
Ben Watson, Live Oak Engineering, 2509 7th Avenue South, 35233. I think Mac said it pretty well, but yes, this is a pressure wash car wash. This is so Enterprise can wash their cars on site, but it's just 2 pressure washers under a canopy so the guys can stay not hot in the winter and not hot in summer. But each pressure washer is 2.2 gallons, so it's talking about 4 gallons a minute for pressure washing. It's just to allow them to wash their cars on site.
You okay with the hours of operation?
Yes, sir.
Sorry. Okay. Any other questions?
I am confused. I've just one question. Where on site is the car wash proposed for?
It's
When I look at the vicinity map to the aerial of the shopping center?
It is the next, if you're on 280,
Okay.
it is the second building, second business really from 280. It's on the, it's not the corner unit, but it's the next one. I'm sure I'm saying that wrong, but
Is it going behind? It's going behind the business.
it's going behind the business. Yes,
Okay,
sir.
that's what I want. That's all. I
Yes,
wanted.
it is very much in the rear.
So it's in there. Okay, thank you. All right, so it's going back there.
Yes, it's
That's what I couldn't understand from the drawings.
correct.
There wasn't.
That's on the screen. But yes,
Okay.
in the rear,
Thank you. That's all.
behind in that back corner.
Any other questions? I'll entertain a motion.
I'll make a motion to approve as submitted with staff comments.
Second.
Have a motion and a second. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, nay. Motion carries.
Thank
Good luck to you. Next case is conditional use case C 0426-0426-08-3599. This is a Deerfield Drive and a group care home. This is conditional use approval to reclassify existing child care operation located at 3595 Deerfield Drive from a daycare home to a group care home. Staff has some comments on this one.
Yes, Mr. Chair, this particular item comes to you after the 6-month dead period, after conditional use applications are denied by the City Council. That 6-month time frame has passed since council denial. Therefore, they're eligible to make this application once again. Let's see, this particular request would be to upgrade the existing daycare home to a group daycare home, which would elevate the number of children from a maximum of 6 to a maximum capacity of 12 children. This will prompt the need for an additional staff member present on the premises at all times, bringing that to at least 2 staff members to operate the facility. Staff did receive some comments from neighbors requesting that the Planning Commission deny the request. Staff is not offering a positive recommendation on this application. However, if the Planning Commission offers a favorable recommendation to the City Council, we do recommend the following conditions. 1, that all of the upgrades outlined in the application be successfully planned, permitted, completed, and inspected, and a new certificate of occupancy is issued prior to the increase in number of students being allowed to occupy the building. 2, that no pickup or drop-off service is provided on Atkins Trim Boulevard. 3, that the group daycare shall serve a maximum of 12 children. Number 4, the hours of operation are to be from 6 a.m. to 5 p.m. Number 5, no employee parking would be permitted on the street. Number 6, business owners shall renew their business license with updated classification prior to the new certificate of occupancy being issued. Group care homes do require conditional use approval to locate in an R1 district, which is the zoning designation for this site. Comprehensive plan supports suburban neighborhood, low-density residential development in the vicinity.
Okay. Who's here representing this case? Come down and give us your name and address and tell us exactly what you got in mind, please. All right.
Thank you. Good evening. My name is Alicia Rouser. I'm the owner of First Steps Early Child Care. I have been at that location almost almost 4 years now. I have operated up under literally nobody really know that I'm there. So I have no, I would say that I communicate well with the neighbors. I'm always open. The problem is I have before school and after school kids that comes to the yard. They wait on the bus. The bus stop is right here. I call them up because that is a busy road. So they wait literally up there in the yard or they play basketball. But on a compliance issue, that's not allowed. So if somebody was to come and I get inspected and they're playing up there or whatnot, waiting on the bus, then I basically get a demerit for that. I heard he was saying he was saying 12 kids. Based on my square footage, I can only care for 8 kids. I now have 5. Well, I was granted 6, but I kept 5 just because of one person. So the last 5 years, 3 years, I've been operating with 5 kids versus 6 kids. And then when you say group home, I think our thought process is going, coming, a lot of traffic when that's not what it is. All of my parents are staggered. They drop off between 7, 7:15, 7:30. 3 of the kids that's actually that I have out of the 5 is in the neighborhood because that's, you know, they get first served, first come. So 3 of those kids are in the neighborhood. And then the other 2, they don't stay directly in the neighborhood, but they also in the neighborhood. They stay like up on Trace Crossing. So they are staggered. It is correct when he said that you will have to have additional staff because anything over 6 is 1 additional staff. But I have had my additional staff for the last 3 years. She have been with me, and I have had no problem with parking. Literally, you don't know that my house is a family child care. I don't have signs. I don't have hangouts. The most I have is in the morning time when the kids play basketball. And yeah, so I'm asking for a conditional use. Right now, based off the square footage, I'm actually granted 8 kids, not 12. And literally, like, they in and out. I don't have traffic.
Okay. Any questions from planning commission?
I got a question.
Yes, sir.
And I don't know if it's contingent or anything, but do we know why it was denied by the council? Do we have that information?
I don't know that we got a full rundown as to why it was denied, but we had the vote, and it did not garner enough positive votes to pass.
Can I answer? You mind? I think it was the wording. I talked to the Mr. Lotta, and he expressed that he just didn't have a lot of understanding what a group home is. When you say group home, I get it. You think of 12 kids, you think of a lot of kids. But per DHR standards, they come out, they measure your house, and they tell you how many kids you could have. Now, the wording say up to 12. If you go back and you look at the wording, it don't say 12 kids. It says up to 12 based on the square footage. The only thing that's correct on what he's saying is, yes, if you go anything over 6 kids, you do have to have a substitute. But I have been running 5 kids and allowed 6 for the last 3 years and have had a substitute for the last 3 years. So I feel like it just wasn't enough information given, you know, on group home. I think it's just something new, and we just haven't kind of deep dived in it to see exactly what it is and what those terms mean.
I got a question for
Mr.
you.
Chair, I have an additional question. Just perusing the zoning ordinance here, there's a paragraph 2.0602 titled Limitation of Type of Home Occupation that states in part that a home occupation shall not include a daycare home, group care home, or night care facility home as defined herein. And I don't see that specifically mentioned in the staff report, but I'd just like to clarify if that language is applicable to the petition that we have before us today.
That section of the code is referring to daycare, family daycare homes and group daycare homes not being classified and defined as home occupations. However, there is a separate section of the zoning ordinance that pertains to family daycare homes and group care homes that are covered as conditional uses within the single-family residential district.
Mr. Chair, I do have a question as well for the staff. Do we have any approved group care homes in Hoover that are in low-density residential areas?
The ordinance creating the daycare, family daycare home and group daycare home designations and classifying those as conditional uses was adopted in 2018. Since that time, we have not had a group daycare home come before us for conditional use consideration.
Other than the one that we're here about today?
That's correct.
Let me ask you a question.
Yes, sir.
You said that you were only approved by the state to have 8 children.
Yes.
Based on your heated and cooled square footage in your home?
Yes,
If you built out part of your home, could you have an additional children in there?
that's with the part that I'm gonna turn into a daycare. So, so basically, if you look right here, the other part of my garage is just open space. So when they came out and measured that part, I only got the additional 2. So it went from 6 to 8.
But
Because-
my question is, could you build out part of your basement garage and get up to 12?
No, I haven't. No, sir.
Could you?
Could I?
Is it
Is it
enough-
possible? I mean, it is possible, but for me, how I run my business is pretty much on what I can handle. I can't handle 12. I wouldn't want 12. I'm primary here is because I do before drop-off and I do after-school drop-off, which the kids is not there no longer than an hour till their mom get there. If I was to get inspected within that hour, then I would get dinged for that. But yes, to answer your question, if I built it out for 12, yes, but that wasn't, yeah.
I understand, but you could do it. That's the
It
point.
won't be 12. That space isn't big enough for 12. It'll probably be, it's not even for 12, it's gotta be like 5, 6 square, like probably 3 square foot. It's not that. 3,000 square foot, it's not that.
Okay.
So based off of DHR measurements of that entire part right there, they determined that I could have 8 kids.
Are you parking a car in your garage?
No, sir.
So it's all gonna be used for daycare?
Yes, sir.
And that's what they use to calculate what you could get up to 8 children?
Yes, sir.
So you'd have to make your house larger in order to accommodate the other 4 kids? You can't do it with what you've got under roof in your house?
I think we have a misunderstanding. So where I have now, in the section where the door is to the right, I could have up to 6 kids there, right? That's the little, not the garage, yes, sir, that part right there. I could have up to 6 kids there. On the other side, that's what she determined, if I wanted to put more kids and I wanted to change that out, then I could add only 2 more kids.
Okay.
It's already, I don't really have to do a lot of work there. That's just open space.
Okay. What about the remainder of the basement? Is it finished?
It's just it's just open space. If I wanted to pull my car in, yes, I can. But I have to do some work, yes. Is that what you're asking me?
I'm asking you if the square footage of your basement area, if you took it all in and heated and cooled your entire basement, would you be able to put 12 children?
No.
in? Only 8?
Only 8, yes, sir.
And they cannot use any calculations for the upstairs?
No, that's not part of it. No, sir.
But could it be?
No, sir.
The state wouldn't allow you to use that as any calculations?
That's my house. That's my living area. So no, sir. That question you asked me, can I use upstairs? No, sir. My designated area, when they come in and they inspect you, they inspect the area that you are saying that's a daycare. So what I'm saying that I'm using as a daycare is my downstairs. That's the area. They don't go upstairs and inspect. They don't do measurements upstairs. If they were to come and I was upstairs, I would be shut down. So that's a compliance issue. And I have somebody from Auburn, if you have any additional more questions, like as far as the compliance area go.
Yeah, you need to get your name and address, please.
Mr. Chair, I had a question too. My name is Jennifer Edelman. My address is 370 Avon Circle, Mount Olive, Alabama. And when she's saying group home, DHR says anything over 6 is considered a group home. So I think that's one of the reasons that maybe y'all are getting confused, is because anything over 6 is considered a group. I used to have a daycare in my home and I had 12, but I had the space for it. So I had a group home with all 12. So her maximum that she could have is 8, but it's still considered a group home because it's more than 6. Anything over 6, you have to have 2 people. You have to have her and assistant.
Right.
Okay. But my question is, could she convert part of her upstairs as part of the daycare facility and get 12 kids in there?
If she did, then she would lose part of her house because
I
it's.
understand that, but could it be done?
I mean, she could,
Okay.
but then, I mean,
I
it
know
would be.
that's not her intent, but it
Right.
may
Right.
be somebody else's intent if she gets the approval.
Right, for the.
That's
for-
my only point.
Okay.
So I have a question. How do they determine, is there a ratio for square footage and the amount of kids? What, do we know that?
I believe
Want me to
it's
answer?
3.2 feet per child.
Per child. So when they come in and they do their measurements, they determine by the center, like if you had this center with the, all the furniture in, like the tables, everything you're gonna use, they measure the center, in open space. So not only is that part of it, my backyard can't even accommodate 12 kids. You also have to have the same square footage outside for play area for 12 kids. So it's a lot that go into that number when they calculate up to 12. So that's why when they come out and they do their measurements, it's up to 12. So it may be 7. It may, on my behalf, it's 8.
Mr. Chairman, for staff, I just want to clarify, this conditional use will follow this business and this operation only and will not be tied to the lot and the deed. So that if a new business decides to come in, they'll have to come back and make this exact same request.
Okay, just for the board's clarification, the section of the zoning ordinance governing daycare homes and group care homes, section 2.04.02, under the conditional use provisions of the zoning ordinance, and subsection D, talking about transfer of use permitted, says there will be no transfer of such permitted conditional use to another address. If the holder moves to another neighborhood, the holder would be required to reapply for the conditional use with the Planning and Zoning Commission. So there would be no transfer from this address to another. However, it does not mention change of ownership at this location.
Well, I'm not questioning change of ownership. It would be tied to the business. So it's tied to this business license,
That's correct.
not to this
If you
address.
sold the business, then she gets the approval, that approval goes to the business, right? Not to the individual.
It comes to an end, and I think that business owner, the new business owner, would have to reapply, correct?
That's right.
Okay.
That's all I wanted to clarify for.
Yeah,
our-
I understand. Any other questions?
And one last one for staff also. This was heard by the previous council. This has not been heard by our current sitting council.
That's correct. It was the previous city council.
Okay, thank you.
2 questions for the applicant. So you brought up a point about having the equal space for play area, which would be outside.
Yes, sir.
Are you within, or is there anything preventing you to expand that?
So I'm in the guidelines of 8. Right now, I don't know if y'all familiar with Deerfield, but it's hilly. So we can't go up because there's so many trees. So the space that they have laid out is only allowed 8.
So you are confined by the topography of your backyard that
Yes,
you
sir.
can't do more than that?
Yes, sir.
Is it your desire to go to 8, total 8? I mean 8, because I see that you have 5, holding off on the 6.
Right.
Is it your intent to go to
No.
the 8?
So I'll probably do my 6. I'd like to keep, my idea is to keep that open room for the kids that at the bus stop, and the 2 kids that drop off and wait on their parents. And it's just simply because that's easier for me. So yeah, no, I'm really gonna stay where I am.
Ms. Rouser,
Yes,
in
ma'am.
the application package, there's a list of, it's numbered 1 to 16, of items about the property. And in the list, there are several things that appear to be improvements that are, I guess, required by the group home designation.
Yes, ma'am.
Are you prepared to make all of those improvements in order to gain 2 additional children?
Yes, ma'am.
Any other questions? Yes, sir.
Mr. Chair, one question for the petitioner. Just as a matter of clarification, is this your primary residence? I know you were listed as the applicant, not the owner, but
That's
you
my
are the
primary.
operator,
Yes, yes, sir.
and this is your place of residence.
Yes, sir.
Thank you.
Mr. Chair, I do have one follow-up question, just a clarification. Ms. Rouser, you said something a few minutes ago about if an inspector came, you would be out of compliance. Can you explain what you mean by that?
Yeah.
What circumstance you're talking about?
Yes, ma'am. So we go by ratios. That's any daycare, period. So for every, like I'm licensed for 6. So 6, 1 staff, right? So if somebody was to pop up, usually they pop up in the morning or they pop up in the afternoon. We have no control over when. But the kids, everything that's on your premises, you're in control of that. So if they're up there playing basketball, waiting on the bus, sometimes the bus run late. We had instances where they ain't been there an hour or 2 because the buses are behind. And if I get inspected, they are part of my ratio. I have none of their information on file. I'm just like, and they are from the neighborhood, so I wouldn't dare say, you need to stand down there at the bus stop. I wouldn't, to be honest, I wouldn't say stand on Atkins Trim, period, because that's a busy road. So they're safe in the yard. They're safe playing basketball there. They're doing what children do. But when you go from a DHR standpoint, you're out of compliance.
So you don't currently have the license from DHR to have the 8 children, is that?
Right, so how it works, I have to go through you guys first. They come out, you tell them, hey, I'm looking to go to a different status because you up in your number, so you go into a group home status. And they give you your measurements and tell you how many you're allowed. But you can't do anything other than that until you get the approval and bring the letter saying you have the approval for that.
And there are times right now when you are operating out of compliance because
In the
other
morning
children-
times, you see the little kids out there playing basketball, they're waiting on the bus. They come in, they wait in the yard and wait on their moms after school. And that's something that they have been doing for years. I've been in my house 14 years. I have been watching that bus stop for literally 14 years, way before I had kids. If you notice, there's cameras all the way around my house. The polices that get called monitoring the speeding, that's me. Okay, so those are my babies that's on that bus stop. And I have looked out for them way before I had my own kids. So I take it personal. One of the parents when I walked the neighborhood, and one of the things that was brought to my attention, they said, you making that your responsibility. I am making that my responsibility. because if anything happens to them kids, I'm on the end corner. And if don't nobody know, I feel like I should know, okay? So only thing I'm trying to do is being compliant with what I'm doing. That's it. Because I don't want to say, hey, DHR here, y'all need to go down on the street and wait down there. That's a dangerous street. I don't know if y'all done passed through there. That is a dangerous end corner right there where the bus is. I ain't even talked about them trying to move it up some and turn. I went to the board on that because that's they speed right there. That's the speeding zone where they just take off. So I guess I'm the police control too. I don't know.
So, one more question. So, to be clear, your only intent for this is so you won't get dinged for what you currently have in place?
Yes, sir.
Matt, can she make a request to only have 8 instead of the 12? And can she make them request to only have 2 in the afternoons when those buses are running, or in the morning when the buses are running? Is that going to be too hard for us to monitor?
I'm not real sure how we monitor that.
The problem I have is it just seems like a lot of kids. If I live next door to you, I don't think I would want 12 kids playing and the noise. I understand what you're doing is probably needed, but I think it probably disturbs your neighbors is what I'm trying to think of too. You know, obviously you got to think about the children. So it's a hard one for me because, you know, one of them, your neighbors, some of them have already written letters to the fact they didn't want you to add. So obviously the 5 are bothering them. So
No, can I comment on that?
I'm sorry?
Can I make a comment?
Sure.
The letters that was written, I have actually kept their kids. I have walked. They have told me their concerns. They're up the hill. Literally, they're up the hill. They don't come down. Their kids go to private school. I was watching their kids in after-school care. They don't ride the bikes down the hill. They're at the top. My neighbors are okay with it because I have walked and I have gotten confirmation. Only thing that I was told is the tree right there, if I can keep it cut down, because it's a blind spot. When it blooms up, it become a blind spot for them coming down. And yes, that's, I'm happy to know that they can't see around, because I had no idea that was a blind spot. Yeah. But I have walked. I'm very much community involved. If I felt like it was a problem, I wouldn't be here. The kids on my street, in these last 3 years, they have been at my door. I have watched them. Now they're going to middle school, so I don't understand that part. But yeah.
Well, I agree with you. Atkins Trim is a busy, fast-driving road. I see a lot of people driving too fast on it. I'm just wondering if you might want to consider continuing this and going and getting letters from your neighbors that says that they have no objection to you having additional children.
Oh, I will. I'll walk again. I have no problem with that.
Then what you could do is you could ask for a continuance.
Okay.
And go to your neighbors and show us on the map, yeah, this is A, B, C, D, and they have no problem with doing what we're talking about doing.
Okay.
And that's my concern. I'm just taking I don't know what their concerns are. My concern is if you had these children and they are already a problem and you're adding to them, then that's going to be a bigger problem for your neighbors. So, you might want to consider asking for a continuance to come back next month with some letters from your neighbors or maybe some support from your neighbors that would even come in here and say, we're in favor of it because she does a good job.
Is that what
it's up to
everybody
you to
agree?
continue. It's not, it's certainly a choice you can make.
Oh, you went on me? I mean, I can do that if that's what you guys would like me to do.
That's my opinion. So we can put it to a vote if you want to put it for a vote.
I will say that that's my biggest concern too, is it's a lot of kids. You know, we each have to think about, would we want to live next to that? And so having some clarity on how your neighbors feel beyond the one letter that was received, I think would be helpful to me. I do want to say that I think we'd have a better world if everybody cared for their neighbors the way you seem to be caring for these children in your neighborhood. And I salute you for your concern for their safety.
Yes, ma'am, thank you.
So it's a hard one.
In the meantime, if she chooses to do that, can we check into seeing if we can limit it to the 8 children? And that's all she said she can accommodate, because that also makes a difference between 8 and 12 for me.
I think it's part of the conditional use. You can add that as a condition, a limitation to the 8. I don't know how we monitor it, but.
So you'll put it on, they basically, like you presented me the letter. You presented me the letter on how many kids was allowed. So on your zoning letter, you basically say up to 8. So when they put on the licenses, that's the number that they go by. It's the number that zoning recommended.
Well, the way the ordinance is written, you are allowed up to 12. But in this particular case, since you don't have the space for it, and you only want 8, I would think that we as a body could say, if we approve it with only 8 kids. You can't have the 12.
Yes, sir.
I still think you'd be wise to go to your neighbors, even get them to come if you can, to support you.
Yes, sir. Okay.
That'd be my recommendation to you.
Yes, sir. I could do that.
So, but let me ask, is there anybody here in the audience that wants to make any comments about this case? Yeah, okay. Let's hear what they got to say.
Yes, sir.
Come down, please, and give us your name and address, please.
I'm Joan Stahelski. We've lived on Deerfield Drive for about 37 years. And 3 kids, I've walked down that hill, I've walked up that hill, picking up kids from the bus stop, et cetera. I've also helped out neighbors on very rainy days and picked up kids in the last couple of years, and have been at that corner just beyond the dead end sign. And it is a problem when there are people on the road who I think are your helpers, there are people that do park on the road that come and help during the day. And, well, the cars are there. And I'm still confused as far as how many kids are there just in the morning and just in the afternoon?
Well, I have the 5 kids, and they're there all day. But the kids that be outside in the morning, they're just in the morning, getting on the bus, waiting on the bus. So when you guys see kids, out there in the morning time, the bus come at 6:50. 6:50, it run late sometimes, so 6:50 to 7 is Simmons, and then 7:30 is, that's Trace Crossing.
Yeah.
6:50 to 7 is Trace Crossing. And then 7:30 is Simmons, and then 8 o'clock, 7:45, you got your high school kids.
Right.
But I only have the elementary kids, which is the kids from our street, that waits right there. And then I have the 2 middle school students that get on the bus right there.
So the 5 are there during those 7 or 8 hours?
Only 5, yes, ma'am.
Okay, because I have seen them,
Outside, yes, ma'am.
we all have to go past her house in order to go to, so we know what's going on. And I applaud you for that, because you are right. We didn't, have any problems. But the thing is that on those certain times, it does get crowded. And I know a few drivers who don't make that turn on our street as nicely as they should, and it does become a problem. So I have concerns, but I'm, glad that it's only going to be 8, and I think you're worth the shot. I think we need to continue this to find out what's going on.
Okay,
And I think there are a few others that are here with me.
okay. Anybody else want to speak?
Hey, I'm Holly Laney. I'm at 3559 Deerfield Drive. And I have 2 little boys that ride that bus that actually hang out at her house and play basketball in the mornings. Those are my children. And my concern, and I've already talked to Alicia about this, is the lack of sidewalks. We don't have sidewalks. So my house is way up the street, and my little boys walk down the street and walk up the street. With cars on the street, they're having to walk around those cars to get to the stop. And so my concern is the extra traffic. It's not easy to turn around right there, so we have a lot of extra traffic that come up the road to turn around, and it's a quiet, dead-end street for the most part. But because cars can't turn around right there, they are going up the street. So she has actually helped me out with my children. She has kept them before, so she is wonderful, and she is definitely a godsend. But that is my concern as a mom, is that the lack of sidewalks and my children walking up and down the street. So
I'm a little confused. I'm not sure you for or against this.
that's your decision.
Well, okay.
Yes.
Somebody else?
Mr. Chair, I do have a question for that young lady. Miss Holly, is that your name? Just a quick question. The times that Ms. Rouser has helped with your children, did you compensate for that?
The first year that my children were at that school, yes, it was after school, and she did keep them for about an hour. But now my 2 are just involved in the other 10 that are playing basketball in the mornings. And she is right, the bus has been late, and she has kept them. And there's a group message that goes out. I mean, she is correct with that, but she only did that for 1 year. Yes.
Thank you.
Wait a minute.
Sorry,
I had
Mr. Chair,
no, did you want to speak?
I had a question.
Yeah.
So was there 10 kids or how many are allowed at one time? I know one of the issues was
You mean
if
playing
DHR shows
basketball?
up and there's more than 6.
Yeah, they just play, yes, it's more than 6 out there sometimes. But
Oh.
they play basketball and they wait on the bus.
Okay.
So I don't go out there and just count.
No, I get it, but just wanted to make sure. Okay.
Yes, good evening. This is Lewis. I'm Lewis Karuba at 3578 Deerfield Drive. And I just want to kind of piggyback off of what Holly said. The traffic, it's a dead-end street. I have 2 young children as well, and they play up and down the street. I don't allow my kids to come over the hill towards Atkins Trim just because of what we've been discussing, the speed and the amount of traffic on Atkins Trim, but also the additional cars. I mean, we're going from, I don't remember the number, 4 or 5 that she's taking care of now to 8 with the possibility of 12. So that's 16 cars, additional cars up and down our dead-end street every day. I live at the intersection of, I guess that would be Deerfield and Deerfield, the first cul-de-sac. And I can see on my camera cars turning around at the intersection or using my driveway to turn around if my vehicle's not there. And that's, her pickup times can be after my kids get home from school, which is when they're outside playing, when they're going up the street to the Laney's house. And it's a concern for me, we live on a dead-end street, low traffic count. I feel comfort and at ease allowing my kids to play and not be eye-hawking them watching for vehicles. So that's my concern.
Okay, thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Anyone else? Anyone else or I know who you're for, but anybody else in the back there? Okay, come on down.
Hello, my name is Saheed Blackshaw. That's actually was my residence. I will say most of the time y'all probably seen my car there, so I'm sorry. I'm guilty of that. and I'm also guilty of driving up. I will say, I do park right there if you see where the mailbox is. I try to allow most of the parents to get in and drop their kids off so there's not kind of in the driveway. But if you see how big that driveway is, it really does permit for a lot more cars there. So I would say if we were to use as a conditional use, maybe we shouldn't, or I guess I shouldn't be parking. See, that's a pretty big space. And it looks better. I pressure washed it. So yeah, don't those are old. We need to update that. But if you turn kind of to the, what is that, to the left? I think is that the area you guys are speaking of where cars are parked right there? Yeah, that's me. That's all me. And I actually have a kid of my own, so I've kind of moved off from staying there all the time. So I think maybe one of the conditions that we could to compromise for everybody could be no parking on Deerfield, if maybe that would be more of a solution for everybody. Yeah, that's my car actually there too. See, I'm not doing it this time, but you see it right next to that 4Runner. But I do think we had positive reviews from everybody, and in this day and age, I mean, we'd rather have kids playing outside than stuck on an iPad all day. So if we could provide that safe haven for the kids, I'm for it.
Okay.
That's all I had to say. And I'm sorry for parking there, guys. I won't do it no more.
Anybody else in the audience have anything to say? Yes, sir.
Yes, my name is Nazir Mohammed. I own that property. And Alicia and the kids have been living there for 15 years. We have had no problem, no accidents, no complaint from anybody. Since she opened the daycare 3 or 4 years ago, which I gave her a permission to do it. She has done everything right. She has kept it clean. She makes sure the streets are not kind of blocked or congested. The people who drop their kids, they don't all come at one time. They are few minutes far apart, so the parking lot, the driveway is not full all the time, or there is no obstruction in any way. And I think she's done a good job, and I do think being an owner, I haven't had a single complaint in 15 years. Thank you.
Thank you. Anyone else? Ms. Rouser, can you come back down here so we can talk back with you? It would be my suggestion for you to ask for a continuance so that you can go back and get as many neighbors to come or to write letters and show us exactly which neighbor you got that is not going to oppose it. I also think it would be wise on your part to try, since you can't have more than 8, you would make the recommendation, you'd ask for the recommendation to only have 8. And if you can do anything else, if it helps you to say that the extra children are there for the bus,
Okay.
that may even help you. Anything that would reduce the amount of children that you're asking for,
Okay.
I would use, if I were you, in my argument,
Yes, sir.
if that's what you want to do. But again, it is your choice. We will vote on it tonight if you do not want to continue it.
I'll do a continuance.
Okay. All right. We'll continue this to next month. Anybody that has an interest in this case, they need to be here next month at May the 4th at 6 o'clock. No new notices will go out. This is continued from this month's meeting, so we're not going to notify anybody, but we will have a meeting, and this is, would probably be on the agenda. Y'all understand that? Now, you might want to spread the word to all your neighbors. We don't have to have a motion to continue this, do we?
I would do that just to be on the safe
Okay.
side.
That's,
I'll make a motion to
Okay.
continue the case.
Second.
motion second. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, nay. Motion carries. Good luck to you.
Yes, sir. Thank you.
Okay. Last case tonight is zoning case Z 042605, 2333 Farley Place. Change the zoning from an R1 single-family residential to an legacy single-family residential. Staff has a few comments.
Yes, Mr. Chair. This particular application comes before us in order that the property owner at the subject address 2333 Farley Place is able to remodel their home with the addition of a covered, unenclosed front porch extending off of the front of the existing house. The Legacy Single Family Residential District will accommodate this addition, allowing for the proper encroachment of the covered, unenclosed front porch on the existing home. Staff recommends approval, and the comprehensive plan supports low-density residential development in the vicinity.
Okay, who's here representing this case? Come on down and give us your name and address.
Hi, I'm Dana Cole, 2333 Farley Place.
Tell us what you're going to do, please.
I have a ranch-style home, and I want to just add a front porch. We're going to make it, so my garage is on this side, and then I have the door, picture window, and then 2-bedroom windows. So it will go from, it's going to be about 20 feet long, going from just before the garage and then past the picture window. And then we're going to bring it about 8 feet deep, and then there will be, just front stairs a little bit, coming off of that 8 feet. And then A-frame, white and gray. My house is, white and gray. So what else do you need to know?
Any questions? I used to be your paper boy when I was 12 years old.
What's that?
I was your paper boy when I was 12 years
Oh.
old. I don't think you were there
I'm
then,
not
though.
sure if no, I was not there. I'm not sure if I was born yet. I may be, though. It's quite possible. No, I'm just kidding. I'm sure I was. Yeah, no, I did not mean that way. I very much apologize.
I'll entertain a denial then.
I was doing really well, wasn't I? Until I said that.
Mr. Chairman, I'll make a motion to approve as submitted.
Second.
I got a motion second. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Thank you so much.
All those opposed, nay. Motion carries. Good luck to you.
Thank you.
We're adjourned. You know what? I didn't hear what she said, but it was. I was too old.